al mitzvahs bikurim, the mitzvah of giving thanks to Hashem, vidui
Excuse
ma'aseh,
me,
giving the
start
fruit.
again. Start again from the beginning. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, but in following the command in our parsha, al mitzvahs bikurim, the mitzvah of giving the first fruits, vidui ma'aseh, and we say out loud the vidui when we give it. When the Yidden reach Eretz Yisrael, and with this, Moshe Rabbeinu completes explaining the Torah, Ulachadish Kol HaMitzvahs Asher Tziva Oisei Hashem, and to renew, to bring out all the mitzvahs that the Eibishter gave us. As he started in Dvarim, so Moshe Rabbeinu is final empowering speech is coming to an end. So Moshe Rabbeinu now goes to speak. So Moshe Rabbeinu goes into the general concept of the Yidden serving the Eibishter. So the what we said was following the mitzvah of Bikurim, Moshe Rabbeinu goes into the summary of the acceptance of the Yidden to follow Torah mitzvahs in general, and the bris, the covenant that the Yidden have with Hashem. So somehow Bikurim is the closing mitzvah. That's what it seems the Rebbe is implying over here. I'm going to pass.
Okay, Rabbi Yisrael, go ahead.
Okay, good. So at the end, apparently, Moshe Rabbeinu goes back to cover general regulatory compliance about following the whole Torah and listening to the Eibishter's commands, because I already completed everything. So by the Rebbe says like this, the Rebbe quotes, meaning, I guess, the last detail that he went into was just Bikurim, and then afterwards he went back to general topics, like this pasuk that the Eibush tells you today to do the chukim and mishpatim, and you should keep them and do it with all your heart and your whole soul. Und der noch Shomer ist kol mitzvah hamayim. Goya bayim asher tavras hayazim l'oretz bimer vaykemoisel es gamer kusavt alein es kol gizis gamer. Right, keep all the mitzvahs and the day. Then you should inscribe all of this. Un haskis u'shma Yisrael haimes and yisrael am Hashem Elokecha. V'shamata v'kol Hashem Elokecha gamer. I'm not seeing the time limit over here. Either he froze or something. But if my time is up, please let me know. It could be my connection wasn't so great.
You try to finish the paragraph. It's a good mitzvah.
Okay, all right. Let me finish it then. Und der noch behemshach parsha afterward later on read sich baruch wegen die divrei habris asher tziva Hashem es Moshe lichres es bnei Yisrael be'eretz Moav milvad habris asher karas itam b'chayrit. Then he goes back to the general topic of the covenant that the Yidden have with the Yidden have with the Eibishter, aside from the one that was a separate event that happened by Har Sinai. Parsha mamash up until the closing statements in the parsha. Right? You should do this, and you should understand everything that needs to be done. Und der Teichen wird nimshach euch in die Parsha Shachris and Nitzavim Melech Hazinu Zleis HaBracha. Also in those parshas that followed, Moshe Rabbeinu also covering general topics. Was redt sich nicht wegen Mitzvahs Protius, is not talking about specific Mitzvahs, nor wegen die Bris, Torah Mitzvahs und Inyanim Klolim verbunden. It starts off in our parsha, where it goes back to general topics about generally listening to, doing everything, keeping the covenant, etc., that goes on, and also the ups.
Yasher Koyach. Okay, so just a little because I realized that this timer wasn't on repeat, so I had to get distracted by that for a little. But anyways, now that we're here, as long as we could see this whole thing, so then we're good. I think so. I'm just gonna have a little bit of a look back because I don't think I got everything. So let's see if what we said in the beginning is that after Moshe Rabbeinu basically went through all the different mitzvahs that Hashem commanded, and he basically went back to speaking about the general fulfillment of the entire Torah and all the mitzvahs, and the covenant on this between the Yidden and between Hashem and the Yidden. Okay, so that was the first paragraph. The second paragraph started going and saying, sorry, I'm just trying to happen whatever I could here. Okay, I'm out of time. Yeah.
So yes, so the Rebbe opened up saying the mitzvah of this week's parsha is bikurim, giving thanks to Hashem when we get our first fruits, and then the parsha gets into talking about the general aspect of Torah mitzvahs and the relationship that Yid has with Hashem. These psukim, by the way, to me personally, are very inspiring. Keep to it, stick with it, be strong. It's a vibring. Anyway, whatever. But there's this one detailed mitzvah, and from that detailed mitzvah, the bikurim, the Moshe Rabbeinu goes into the whole big picture. So kivan shatzivoi v'abris al kol satera mitzvah, since the commandment and the bris, the relationship with the Yidden and the Eibushter al kol satera mitzvah baba hemshech echad miyad lachem mitzvah bikurim. Since this follows directly the mitzvah of bikurim, yesh leimar, we must say sheyesh no shaychus technis b'neim. There's a connection. That everything in Torah, specifically the order of Torah, is extremely meduyuk. There's a purpose for it. So the fact that from mitzvah Bikurim, Moshe Rabbeinu escalates into the relationship with God and the Yidden and the whole summary of the Torah mitzvahs, there must be a connection between Bikurim and the complete relationship of Yidden and Torah and mitzvahs in the Eibushter.
Okay. ובפרט לית פירוש רש"י. אז היום הזה השם אלוקיך מצווך גמר, ושמרת ועשית עשם. According to Rashi's Pirush, that when it says in the pasuk that today the Eibishter commands you to do so, and you should keep it and do it so, is a bracha was kommt zu lieb kim mitzvahs bikurim was redt sich lifnei zeh. Baskom v'arachtoi hiveisa bikurim hayom tishana l'shana haba. I guess Rashi. That's the text of Rashi that that when it says today you should listen to what the Eibishter says, Rashi explains that there's a special bracha that comes for the fact that we did bikurim. So it's interesting. It's in the psukim that come after we finish talking about bikurim. But Rashi explains it actually goes on what happened beforehand. The fact that we discussed bikurim and how to do bikurim. It goes on there saying that you get an extra special bracha from the Eibishter for having done things as described. That if you did it this year, the Eibishter benches you that you will merit to double it, to repeat it by the upcoming year.
Yasher koyach. Okay, I'm getting somewhere. Let's see. My turn? Yeah. Because you just took yourself off mute, so I was wondering. I mixed it up. So being that I was a little out of the game for a little bit, I want to share some stuff. First of all, today's Tanya. Talking totally about a lufay, shaloilam, right? Right? Bringing the aleph in. Because if the aleph's missing, then you're missing the whole thing, right? Was that today or yesterday's? Today's, I think. Anyways, So that's really cool stuff that the Alter Rebbe is already speaking about it. When the Aleph is missing, right? So it says rachis. No? Sweet. I need your help here. So it says about missing the Aleph, though, because the Aleph is basically the revelation. So it's talking about. And I know that just today someone was posting the idea of, I'm not sure who, but he quoted a sefer, which speaks about why Mashiach will have to be anointed. No. Wait, I'm mixing it up. Speaking about why the idea of Mashiach is not one of the mitzvahs. Okay, yeah, I'm out of time.
And that's probably exactly what the Rebbe is getting into. That's klolos hatayra v'amitzvahs. That's the whole bris. Like that's the summation of everything. Anyway, so it has a lot to do with what we're learning. You say to me, and thank you. Yes, I did miss it, but the Aleph with Rashis. Say to me, Zu, and even more than this, Abris al klolos hatayra mitzvahs. The covenant over the entire relationship with mitzvahs. It's in the same parsha as mitzvah bikurim. And the start of the parsha is not with general, but specifically with bikurim. The headline, the first statement, even according to the way people speak, their opening statement, how much more so when it comes to holiness and Torah, is the opener for the rest of the whole concept. So we're establishing that Bikurim is something that leads us into the whole relationship with Hashem. And in my own life, when I first get that first paycheck, and I've been looking forward to it for so long, and not to give it to the Eivishter, I mean, come on. I could see how this is the entire Torah and mitzvahs in one. It's the first test, so to speak. The one thought I had. And also this morning, Rabbi Isaac reminded me to learn Chassidus, Shikayach.
Very well said. Good point. You can already understand, without the rest of the sikh, you can already see how this is shakol keneged kol hat, keeping the whole brace and everything. Good, let's take a see. Darf man verstehen, was ist die Scheichus zwischen Mitzvahs Bikurim mit dem Bris auf Kabbalah Soter Mitzvahs, Kol HaTorah Mitzvahs? What is the connection between Bikurim, which includes also the covenant to receive and to keep all the Torah Mitzvahs? What does that have to do with all of the Torah Mitzvahs? Yeah, how come it seems to include general learnings that we learn for the rest of the Torah mitzvahs and all the rest of the parsha and the rest of the parshas after that? What is the connection, Taka? Is Bikurim ein mitzvah protest zwischen alle mitzvahs Torah? Apparently, it's one of the 613. It has very specific details. It has to be davka in Eretz Yisrael. Bisman shavis mikdashei kayam. Davka von die Shiva Minim, shnishtabcha ben Eretz Yisrael, und min hamuvchar shebahem. Davka der was hat karka in Eretz Yisrael. You have to own land. Und karka mishubachas. It has to be good land, quality land.
Okay, I like where we're going. I also want to say, I'll just finish the sentence here. In Korean Mikra Bikurim El Bizman Simcha Matzeres V'Chag Adechag. Another limitation that seems to be by it is that it's only in a time of Simcha and when you go up by a Chag or something like that. But basically, you're saying that there's a ton of different limitations, definitions, restrictions on when it's applicable. I want to mention, since Tzvi was saying, like when I heard from Tzvi, when he's in the middle of reading that paragraph, I'm like, the Rebbe does this a lot in an often ways. It seems that he qualifies stuff. He keeps on going on and on and on about something. Why it's so important? Like you already said, it's important, right? The Rebbe already said it, but then keeps on saying, no. It's not just it's in the same parsha, but it's the beginning, and not just it's in the beginning. It's like how the Rebbe keeps on doing it. And again, I know I said this before, but I really think that this is true. Is that we're trying to talk to the body. If I'm trying to talk to the body and the body's got to understand, so then I really got to take whatever possible connection and way that my body will accept it and use that. Whereas the neshama, yeah, it takes it at face value. Just teach me chassidus, it's good. But the body's got to get it. So that's what I think we do it.
Shkoyach Isaac. Maybe don't push it. Don't push your luck. Amamis batas. So in what is it actually that the connection to this day Hashem your God is commanding you that this mitzvah bikurim is this the today God is commanding you. So if there's so many limitations to if the mitzvah even has to be observed, how could you tell me that this mitzvah defines our obligation to God in all times and places? That we have to see to it that the mitzvahs that are given to us by God have to be as though I received them today from Har Sinai. So the Rebbe is emphasizing the question, how with a mitzvah, if it's a mitzvah that's constant, you want to say the mitzvah of a bris, which is constantly on the body, and that's a mitzvah that has a relationship with God eternally, that makes sense, because it's something that's constantly with you. But a mitzvah that is so defined by limitations, only those who own land in Eretz Yisrael and good land in Eretz Yisrael and have 7 fruits that Eretz Yisrael is praised in, only they are obligated. How could this be the definition of our entire relationship with Hashem? Chaim Uvracha.
Chaim, good point, Isaac Take, about the fact that the Rebbe brings up all these different sides and aspects and asmachtos and ways how we see it this way, and the Rebbe goes on to say, so to speak, disclaimer after not disclaimer, but like supporting fact after supporting fact after supporting fact, and it's not enough. Another one, and to be perfectly honest, sometimes I have a bit of a golus effect where my golus makes me feel like at some point it starts coming out of my ears. Chas v'shalom, we can't talk like that. It's obviously it shows on our vergrebtkeit and how deep in golus we are. But it's awesome that you brought it to mind, because we have to take a think how you think it's coming out of your ears. You think the Rebbe is going on and on. No, every single part over here has something very, very rich and deep. It's only really because we're in a deep, dark tunnel and we can't see the light that it feels like, oh yeah, now the Rebbe is saying this, now the Rebbe is saying that. And chas v'sholom, it feels like it's going on and on. But really, if we sat and we kocht on each and every one of these aspects and what each one adds and brings to the table, the fact that the Rebbe brought an asmachta from this point and from that point and from this gematria, and from the fact that it's on the beginning of the parsha, and the fact that the beginning generally shows on the opening statement, every part of it really has something very rich to it, and we need to appreciate it. And it's something to be worked on.
Thank you for that. And all the support and the juice. Wow. Good stuff. And Tzvi for making it nice and clear. I feel like I'm with it now a little bit. Okay. So what taka is a connection? Which I was thinking, is that really like a problem? Is it really a problem that it's so defined? Like, meaning why is that a problem? I'm just thinking. I don't really have any thoughts on that yet. But like the Rebbe is saying that it is a problem, right? Because we're talking about on all mitzvahs, and here's being very specific. Kind of like my question is, so what? And I don't know, maybe we got some. I mean, I get the general concept that one is very specific and one is general, but I'm saying, why is that such a big deal? So yeah, so this is very specific, but it's still connected. Anyways, I'm just asking. Okay, let's go a little bit. Euch darf man verstehen, wenn geht zu dem Shema HaParsha, Sovoi. Man hat geredet mehrere Mal when get to Shemas HaParshas. We spoke many times about in regards to the names of the Parshas as their Namen von der Sach, geht Reus dem Teichen von der Sach, was wird angerufen mit dem betreffend Namen.
I want to say I really enjoy learning with this group over here. It's a very good learning experience. Yeah. Imagine, Rabbi Isaac, that you have one son who's traveling overseas and you want to tell him a message. And you're going to give him a message and you could tell him to keep Shabbos. I was telling someone about this last night at the fire. You could tell someone keep Shabbos. You could tell someone, eat kosher. These are mitzvahs that keep you within the tribe. It's a mitzvah that's like constantly coming up. You constantly have to eat. Shabbos is a constant declaration of faith in Hashem. But when it comes to like dipping your bread in salt sort of thing, that's what you advised me to say. Now I remember the story, but like it doesn't make any sense. Why are you driving a guy crazy to dip his bread in salt? It's such a side note. Why would that be the thing that you're pushing for? And that's what the Rebbe is asking: is why is Bikurim the thing that the Rebbe from here? The Moshe Rabbeinu escalates and says the whole Torah, the whole relationship with God, is hinged on this Bikurim. And what is Sovoi? Sovoi means to come, to enter. Anyway, so that's the name of the parsha. Knisa shel bnei Yisrael eretz Yisrael. Shelachayra zeh rak hakdama va'achana l'kiyum mitzvah bikurim. Seemingly, this is only a preparation for the bikurim.
Rabbi Yisrael. Rabbi Yossi will be after Yisrael.
Okay, I was going to ask. Okay. And welcome, Rabbi Yossi. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so let's see, where are we holding here? Where did you read up to? Did you finish that part? Are we up to the beginning of base? Did you finish that paragraph before base?
We're in the middle. There's like parentheses, but I'm reading it in Hebrew. Ushar mitzvahs und andere mitzvahs.
Okay, all right, fine. So, was lechore ist das nur akdama v'chanot zukim mitzvahs bikurim und die andere mitzvahs, welche mit darf man keinem sein la'achri wie Sovoi el oretz v'geimer. Right. So coming into the land is only the beginning of the chain reaction that has to occur until the point where you can actually bring bikurim. Ve'af al pikein, wird die ganze Parsha, ohne bidik von etzem mitzvahs bikurim, Bizoich der Bris, if kol ha-mitzvahs shebe-parsha seinu, angerufen mishem Sovoi. Was is nicht mehr wie a hachon v'akdama tzukim ha-mitzvahs ba'aretz. So now we're also turning the question on the name of the parsha. What's so interesting about the fact of going into Eretz Yisrael, which is only the very early beginning of the chain reaction of what happens so that you can even do Bikurim? What does that have to do? Why does that get the name on the whole parsha that affects everything in the whole Torah, all the general covenant-related material?
Wow. So I should have read what's going on. I didn't know what time exactly. And I made the quiz later, but 9. So I told my wife I'm going to leave around 10 to 9 from the house because I have a whole meeting as Farbengen and Shurim that I have tonight. So Bashgocha Potis, so I couldn't say I leave now. Also now 8 to 9, also another year in the house. I'm sitting with everybody. But thank God the telephone rang. My wife had to speak on the phone, so I'm here now. So this is Ashgocha Potis. I really want to know in Kisove. I like the idea Kisove Lord. I like it very much. But I don't know what you speak about. I'm involved in Posach Eliyahu now, so I want to know what Kisove means. I speak about Eliyahu over all day, and that's what I do. So, and 18 seconds. I'm very happy to be here. It's very important. I really would like to read the Sikha to know what you're talking about. I don't even have an idea even. I know Kisove only. I know Nimna Nimnoes is happening over here because Kisove and Ketete is Nimna Nimnoes. That somebody told me. It's like Meir Frimmerman.
It's amazing to hear you and see you. I just want to, I think we're going to have to stop right. Oh, wait, are we going an hour or a half hour? What did we make up?
Let's go for half an hour, no? It's not too irrelevant that people go half an hour. I'm going to start to make it a point.
Half
At
hour,
least something.
I think we made up a half hour. Okay, unless we change it, so we'll finish now. I just wanted to give a quick recap we're basically saying that in this parsha where Moshe Rabbeinu starts speaking about the general idea of keeping Torah mitzvahs and the bris that we made with Hashem Yisbarach, and that we start off the parsha speaking about Bikurim. So there must be a direct connection between the mitzvah of Bikurim, which seems to be very limited and very specific in a very specific time, specific people, specific place, and speaking about the whole thing. So what is the connection between those two? That's pretty much our question that we have. And I'm in the middle of trying to understand. So, Tzvi, I really appreciate your explanation that you just said about taking the idea like dipping in chal and salt. Also, b'shkacha pratis that you chose that example, which is funny. So I think you should say also, you should share that story always. But again, here the Rebbe is giving another detail. Why is the Rebbe giving this detail? Okay. I think
I'm happy to be here. Good to see you, Tzvi. Good to see you, Rabbi Holstein. Oh, wow.
Yeah, right now.